Welcome back to East Coast DNA. We've had quite a run of episodes lately. We were daily off and on for a little bit there, and now at this point, I'm probably traveling if people are watching this, or I'm already possibly in Newfoundland for the East Coast Music Awards. And today's guest is also nominated for one of those awards this year. So, congratulations and welcome to Heather Feather.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So, Heather, you're up for Children's Artist Award. And I did do a little bit of research going into this to see who it was that I'd be talking to. I see that you have quite a history in teaching as well. So I definitely want to get into a little bit of how those two worlds blend together for you. I know that when we go look for you online, we go to WeeJams. So maybe if we could, before we get into too much of the current day to day of Heather Feather, if we could go back, your East Coast connection, you're originally from Mount Pearl in Newfoundland.
That's right.
So, what was it like growing up there? And I'm curious, when did you start in music? And also, when did you migrate off of Newfoundland?
Yeah. So that is like my story is kind of like two halves. So it's before multiple sclerosis and after multiple sclerosis. And when I started out, I mean, everybody in Newfoundland is musical, right? We all play guitar, and that was kind of growing up from birth. So I grew up in Mount Pearl, and my dad is an amateur guitarist. My mom is a singer, and my whole family made music. I was really driven by classical music and wanted to go to music school. So I remember going to school, Mary Queen of the World growing up. And my parents actually still live in that area just off the Topsail Road. So in the zone that I was schooled for, same house since 1973. And it was interesting because there wasn't really a huge music program, but there was this really weird instrument that was like shaped like a big circle, and you had to make a fart noise into it to get some music out of it. Oh, I thought it was hilarious. It's called a French horn. So I was like to my band director, can I take this home and learn how to play it over the summer? And he thought, yeah, great, go for it. We don't have one of those. So that was my beginning into like really being hooked on making music. That was probably grade seven, I think, summer
Hmm.
after grade seven. And then I went to Holy Heart and I did a lot of singing. And then I said, oh, I'll go to music school. So everything was very classical, classical, classical. Finishing up my degree at Memorial as a music major, I was playing in the Newfoundland Symphony Orchestra. And then I got a scholarship to move to the United States for a master's degree to write music. I was really interested in composition too. And I'd done the Provincial Arts Council composition contest growing up. So once I went to Ohio, I was hooked then for good. That was it. There was no more going back to anything else. So came back to Canada to do a PhD. And I didn't have grad programs at Memorial. So that was the main reason for leaving, because there was no way for me to continue.
Sure.
Right. So I thought, well, okay, well, I'd like to be an academic. I'm really loving this. I'm going to do a PhD at McGill University. So as I came back to McGill, and I was actually studying math models in using math to model 20th century music was my PhD. And so a lot of math modeling and number cracking and finding codes, hidden codes in music. It's fascinating. And I love teaching. So all the way through, I was teaching at every
Hmm.
level. And I was teaching composition and arranging and theory. And then as I was finishing my degree, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And I was like, oh, every time I go back to try to teach at the university level, I get sick. So there's something with that. So I took a few years off, newly married then, met somebody here in Montreal, and realized the connection between the stress of an academic life and putting in that many hours. And once I had my own son, and I loved motherhood, and he was just so hooked on music, I just never really looked back. His school asked if I could do a little after school thing when he was in kindergarten, and I started then. And now he's 17.
Oh, amazing.
So it was just like a whole new career took off. Complete, in some
Yeah.
ways, completely unrelated. But when I teach children, I have like the end view of what I know as a PhD in the field of what I would like them to see the big picture to be.
Yeah.
And that's
It,
kind of fun.
is that where the WeeJams piece kind of came birthed out of?
Exactly. So if you do like an undergrad in music ed, or if you teach music lessons yourself, you have like a number of techniques that you like that feel good to you that you used to teach. But I went to school so long, I learned so many different techniques. I just thought I'd pick and choose. And so I kind of created my own program, and I wanted it to feel like Newfoundland, where people grew up making music in their homes with their families. Like we have these really strong choral programs on the East Coast, and everybody was always singing and playing an instrument. And I thought, I want to give that to these Montreal families because they don't do that here.
Ah, yes.
That's what WeeJam is. So it comes from wee for little, like the Scottish say, oh, he's a wee one.
Hmm.
A WeeJam. So you come, you learn to play the ukulele, and your kids learn to play too. So you go home, you jam, you rock out. It's fun.
That's amazing. And I'm curious, not to derail like your own personal career here, but where you were talking about just academically, where you had studied, and a little bit like with your anecdotes of where I could see how you kind of gravitate towards something it rather than having like a complete cut of this is the musician me and this is the other me. You seem to gravitate towards options to kind of blend those into
Absolutely.
one. Have you ever, now this is a genre jumping thing. So because I cover so many different types of music and I focus more on Canadian music and specifically East Coast, I do end up stumbling across quite a bit of different genres, and that comes from myself working in record stores and stuff over the years. So I always liked a lot of different genres too. But there is a whole separate like subgenre in like heavy metal and rock that's math rock.
Yeah.
Like, so are you familiar with that?
Oh,
Like, does
yeah, of
that
course.
that must fascinate you?
Yeah, it's fast. It's fun stuff.
Yeah, because they have those equations built. Like, you may not realize it to watch it for the first time, but like there is those equations and hidden messages built into a lot of that.
Absolutely. And a lot of that is composers need to express, but then it's also fun just to kind of play the game and try to figure out what the code is, right?
Hmm.
I know when I was teaching at McGill, which is a very conservative program, I remember taking some of this stuff in though. So we were looking at something called like chromatic mediant harmonies that came up in the late Romantic era, where you're moving with common tones, but it doesn't sound like if the chord's in the right key. And you're going a kind of morphing, but there's one note that's connecting the two chords.
Hmm.
So like Ozzy Osbourne does this a lot in like when he's singing songs about drugs. And
Hmm.
if you can imagine like the three notes of a triad are like a triangle, the common note is one point on the triangle. So you see the mathematical shapes like you do your graphing as it shifts. And so I'd be like, okay, so this is Brahms. Here's Ozzy. Let's put on Ozzy's guitar solo here by Zach Wild.
Yeah, it's
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 awesome.
fascinating.
Yeah,
It is like I mean I don't understand it at the degree that you would, but it is just fascinating to even if they're unaware of doing it intentionally. It's just fascinating to dig in and see those. Like I know quite a few people in my life have actually been people that seem to identify patterns quite quickly. So it does have a correlation with music and composition, but it's not always apparent until someone steps back and mentions the mathematic part of it too.
absolutely. Like I remember one piece that I did for my dissertation. I was like, oh man, he composed a hypercube. That's awesome. And
Yeah,
then
I
for a
love.
minute, I was like, is that what I'm imagining? I'm not a mathematician. I'm not very good. I mean, I can see a 3D cube, but what would a fourth dimensional object would look like?
Yeah, see.
But it was wild. It was there too, and the math was mathing, as they say nowadays. So it's really, really cool. And he was writing about his own death. And I think that what he was trying to communicate was that his music will live after he dies. So he was
Yeah.
in like this a recursive structure. So
Hmm.
you know what I mean? Like it builds out upon itself and it
Yeah.
faded away at the end. CBC did a documentary on it eventually, and the violinist is left just fading out, and all that's left is a recording of herself. I think it's Chantagier, and then that dies away. And so it's the idea of the afterlife. And I think that's what he was trying to get across. But when you really dig into the math, you can, the patterns
Uh,
are there. That's cool.
I love it. I'm gonna have to take a look, see if there's a way to watch that documentary online. I know some of the CBC stuff's available out there.
I'll have to have a look too and see if I can find it for you because
Yeah.
he told me long ago, like maybe in
Hmm.
2000, 2001, that there had been something done on it.
Yeah, no, there's a couple I went looking for that they're just not available anymore because we don't
Mm.
realize how much time has passed sometimes. But yeah, it's definitely worth looking for. So back to the music career. So like outside of like the WeeJam's part itself, you are recording as well. So do you also have like a live component where outside of like a school type environment, you're going out and performing as Heather Feather?
Hmm.
So what are those performances like?
That really started maybe in 2022. So, like a lot of other people, like music was an extra in the pandemic, and a lot of it was cut back, right? We couldn't sing because we were spreading germs. And I was never under contract at anyone's school. So my programs travel from school to school
Hmm.
under the umbrella of WeeJam. And then I started thinking, well, I should really try to develop some of the songs I've written for the classroom. Like this class wanted to learn about migration of animals in the fall and about Canadian wilderness. Well, I can turn that into a great kids song. I already wrote the first verse for that Montessori program, or that became my song migration song. Or the simple ones like silly songs like Ants in My Pants about why you should talk to somebody instead of just avoiding the problem. So a lot of social emotional learning. And that's kind of what I'm focusing on now. And it's the newest album is for ages more like maybe 4 to 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
So it's turning that into that. And then they became shows because now I have songs and I have my own things. And so the shows are slightly older because that's more like, it's like being a teaching artist. So you're
Yeah.
presenting like, here's a little bit behind this song. Let's sing it. Hey, what did you think of that? So it's meant to spark conversations at home, in the classroom,
Hmm.
that kind of
So you're a
thing.
little bit more interactive. So maybe the
Very
tiny, tiny ones don't quite have the grasp of that interaction yet. So
exactly.
I can picture that. And I did check out some of your online content. So I was aware that you do like maybe you're not aware that you do it, but even when you were describing your own music, you said like silly songs, but then immediately dove into the meaning that was underlying the silliness of the song. So I did notice that. And I mean, I do follow a couple child performers. My kids are a little too old for me to be doing it for them. So obviously it's just my curiosity out of music. But I do find that some of them, while they're either meant to be something different, like they're not specifically trying to be educational, or they're mixing in something silly just to keep the children's attention before they give them a lesson, or just immediately after to kind of stitch everything together. But I do see that you can't help but bring your teacher mindset
I,
into your projects and do it all. It's great. It's great because I'm sure there's some people out there that are struggling to try to do it because they're putting a lot of effort into how would I do it, and it's not happening as organically. But I think you're uniquely suited with your own past history of work and education. It seems like that's just the person that you've become is Heather
I
Feather.
I find it hard to write something that's purely simple, silly,
Hmm.
with no underlying, you know, message because it's not that I'm a career teacher and I want to teach, but I do want children to think. And it's
Yeah.
through thinking that we grow. So by presenting something, even that's a question, then you're offering the opportunity for growth. And that's really important about the arts that we can do that as artists. You can do that when you go to the
Hmm.
gallery and your children sees like pointillism for the first time. Hey, what's that? That's an opportunity for growth and it just expands a child's world. So
No, it's wonderful that you've not only found a niche for yourself, like you really have carved out something unique for you, but it's also wonderful that you're bringing that opportunity to other people because I'm also a big champion of anything that's introducing children to music because those are the next musicians that are going to be coming out. Like the next 5, 10 years when I'm interviewing an up and comer that's up for a music award, it's going to be children like that that have been involved and had exposure to different programs like that or different artists like yourself. So it's definitely a good thing that you're doing. So
Yeah.
just kudos. And I'm curious too, then we both have ECMA nominations. So I'm myself, I'm happy just to be nominated, as I'm sure you are yourself. But I know that one factor in it is as far as whether or not you win, it makes you think about, does that open any doors for me in the immediate future or long term? And then because of that, it incidentally makes you kind of think about the rest of 2025. So, do you have plans beyond the Newfoundland presented awards?
Yeah, for sure. It's really, for me, it's an honor. It's like an icing on the cake because I derive so much enjoyment from what I do every day. I mean, the award's nice, but like I still do
Mhm.
what I do. I love what I do. I think winning awards adds a bit of legitimacy. It's a chance for somebody, like, especially if you're booking a children's entertainer
Mhm.
and you want them vetted. Like, it's not enough to get some parent's word from a website blurb.
Yeah.
So being peer reviewed and having received something like a songwriting competition or something like ECMAs, that helps a lot with booking of
Mhm.
somebody who's in my kind of domain. It doesn't
Yeah,
mean I
yeah.
won't do so much for somebody who makes their living touring and they're a fan favorite, you know?
Yeah, no, it definitely because that is a factor that for your category,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of to your point. Like I'm aware of some of the performers, as I mentioned, but like if I'm not in that specific region, it may not be something that I'm aware of until awards time rolls around. So when you do go diving in to look, and like I said, I'm a father myself, so in the past I have hired child performers for my children. There's only so many things to look for. If you do see that they have some legitimacy because of that, then I could definitely see how that would help. As far as recordings, are you planning on continuing that then? Like it's been successful enough that that's the plan to continue that as you move forward?
For sure. So the first album came out of nowhere. That was just, I really should get some of this down. It was almost like future anthropology project, Like, oh, I
Yeah.
should make this, I should record these. And then that kind of launched the idea. This one I really put a lot of work and effort into. And I mean, it's recorded between two countries. My latest
Hmm.
album is coming out in June. So we've got musicians from Montreal, and we've got pros from New York, and we've got studios in both New York and Montreal and sending tracks back and forth. And it was very carefully thought out. And
Hmm.
I went to work with somebody who's won Grammys for producing children's albums, and he is a Kindie artist. We call ourselves Kindie, kids indie.
Yeah, I like the term.
Yeah, it's kind of, like if you're looking for something different, you're looking for something fresh that really taps into something rich. Generally, we tend to call ourselves Kindie artists, and we're proud that we're independent. We're following where we want to go.
Hmm.
So I definitely want to go back and do more work with Dean Jones. I love my studio here in Montreal. I'm at Alchemist Studio, out in the east end of the island. And I have plans for an EP. I'm not sure if it's going to be a full album. I have submitted for funding. So I just got a full grant from Canada Council. A month ago, I only found out to fund this
Amazing.
entire album I just recorded. So that was huge.
Yeah,
And
I'm aware of more so than some of the other ones. I'm aware of how big of a deal that is. So
just getting that
congratulations.
funding, I never thought I'd get that. Like, I
Yeah.
had some factor artist development grants for the first one, but getting like the whole lot 100% funded. Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting to see the next funding round, and I would like to do maybe 5 or 6 songs and make them for the younger ones. So, like this album, that Party was the first single that came out in January. And that one is more for older. And
Mhm.
even though younger kids do get a lot out of it, it explicitly calls out perspectives on disability. How can
Yeah.
you move? What's your color? What's your religion? What's your race? You know what? I don't care. You're still welcome at my party. Like it just lays it right out there. What is inclusion? Everyone is welcome. And it's a really Canadian attitude right now, too, right? It's something that we embrace as Canadians, that everyone is welcome. And kids need to just grow up remembering that. And so it's kind of
Mhm.
an anthem in that respects. And it could be useful up to, I don't know, age grade 6, grade 7 to talk about, well, what does racism look like? Is it enough to say I'm not racist? Do you need to be anti-racist? Because if you say nothing, are you complicit? So these are the issues that we're getting into
Mhm.
with that song. Whereas going forward, I think the next is to take a step back and maybe do ages 3 to 7, some more music and movement stuff, but like fill your bucket. Like, what is kindness? What is empathy? How do I break that down? How do I show my friend that I am their friend? And if somebody's being mean, then how can I counterbalance that? So those issues at that age, when we're working at like emotional self-regulation, great. Like I'm thinking ages 4 to 7, those big feelings.
Yeah, yeah, and I 100% understand like psychologically where that division would come, but there's probably a demographic of the 30 and 40 somethings that could probably also use the exact same messages. I include myself in that group, so I'm not 100% innocent of it. So a little bit of self-awareness, maybe more than anything else there. So I'm wondering where you are originally from Newfoundland yourself, and as I mentioned, the ECMAs are actually being presented in Newfoundland this year. Are you going to be able to make it over?
I am, and I'm going to stay with my dad. So my dad has
Nice.
Eastern Health come in every day to help him out. He's very physically frail, but he's still in his place. And my sister and brother-in-law are keeping an eye on him. They check on him every day. And so I'm going to stay with him, which is really nice. I visit my mom. She's in a long-term care facility for dementia. And
Okay.
so she was placed in November. So coming home is also the chance to spend time with mom. Since we don't talk on the phone anymore, she's not able to, or we don't FaceTime.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
just to be in Newfoundland, and it's great to come home. Like I wish I didn't have to leave in many ways, but we all had to leave at one point for work, many of us.
hmm Yeah, I've been fortunate that I'm still at my home technically. I have
Fabulous.
I have family like walking distance from where I'm recording right now, so that's nice, but I do relate to some of those situations and the fact that I'm going to be gone for a whole week to Newfoundland. I'm kind of on the flip side of it where that's kind of a little bit of busy downtime, I guess, because people that know me outside of this are unaware. They think I'm just taking a vacation to Newfoundland, but
It's busy
yeah,
when you're there,
you're
and yet
working the whole time,
accomplishing.
that's for
You
sure.
are, but
Yeah.
you learn a lot too. It's great. And
Yeah, no, it's
2023, I learned so much. It's great.
yeah, great opportunities, and I'm glad that you're able to because I know that Newfoundland missed a year in the cycle where they circle around, so it has been quite a while since it's
Mm,
been hosted in Newfoundland, and it's really expensive for folks like myself to get over there. But I used to live out in the country myself, and I always had that people said it's too far to come visit me. I'm like, it's the same distance for me to go there. So I realize that 100% applies here too, so I can't be a hypocrite and complain. It's expensive for me this year, but it would be remarkably cheaper for me next year and expensive for everyone from Newfoundland to come with us.
for sure.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I felt the same way growing up in Newfoundland to go do any opportunities.
Hmm.
Like I'd go do a camp. I went to band for I did a music camp in Quebec, and
Yes.
just getting there and then the board and tuition and then coming home, it costs a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I think if there's people out there that are looking for more about Heather Feather, I mean, I could send them to streaming services to go listen to your songs, but I think probably WeeJams is your kind of central hub for people to go keep up to date.
Now, the website, yeah. So www.weejam.ca. It will migrate over to a new site soon, but it's
Mhm.
going to have a redirect, you know,
Sure.
a cleaner site, I guess, a newer one,
Yeah.
a lot simpler to navigate. Because I think
Yeah.
I created the first site in 2017. And so the next one will be more performance based than teaching based, I think, and
Ah,
easier to
okay.
find what you're looking for. Like, and for
Hmm.
teachers who are looking for resources, like free resources, you want to use this song in your class? Well, here's what it's really good for. If your child is this age, you want this PDF. And if you're this age of music teacher, you can use this one. That kind of thing will be out there too.
You're triggering the geek side of my mind because I have the same issue on my end where it's East Coast DNA podcast, but I also do videography and I do some graphic design and I do some photography and I've written some articles and none of that is podcast. So I do need to at some point create some kind of website or new revamp launching pad for everything. So I will be looking to see what you do and stealing some of your ideas. So thank you for putting the legwork in.
Dude, it's important to get that kind of refresh. I figure it's what, 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
time,
yeah. I hear you. So we're both going to be heading over to Newfoundland. Maybe while we're both on site, we may have a chance to run into each other. If we do happen to have aligned downtime, which is a very, very precious thing over there, we'll see if maybe we can if if not a full video, maybe we could pop on like a little Instagram live or something and say hello to everybody while we're over there.
It's super fun.
Great. Super excited to see what happens with the actual awards. So best of luck and
Thank you.
congratulations on the nomination regardless.
And congrats to you too, and best of luck.
Thank you. And for anyone that wants a little taste of the music that we're talking about, would you like to play off today with one of your songs?
Sure. I'd love to play off with Happy for You,
Perfect.
which is great for ECMA because it basically says, even if I don't win, I can still put a smile on my face because I'm happy for me, but I'm mostly happy for you.
I actually sent a clip of that to a friend today.
Oh,
So,
did you?
yeah, it's a perfect fit. So,
Perfect.
thank you very much for your time. I do hope that we at least get to exchange small pleasantries while we're on site at the very minimum. And if not, stay in tuned for the future. If you have new releases, reach out and we'll have you back and let people know what's going on.
Thanks so much.
All right, thanks. Bye, everyone.
Not everyone can win, it's true. But that doesn't mean I have to be blue. 'Cause when I know I did my best, I feel good for me and I feel good for you. Even if I don't win the race, I can still put a smile on my face. It's a very kind thing to do. It makes me feel good when I say I'm really happy for you. So happy for you. I'm happy for you and all that you do. I'm really happy for you. So happy for you. And when I'm kind to my friends, it makes me happier too. We all strike out at different things. Sometimes we do so great, we're flying like we have wings. We all have talents and abilities, and what you were good at